we passed another bill eliminating the appellate court from its provisions, which was what made it invalid. And it now only applies to the circuit court and not to the appellate court, because the Constitution provides appellate court judges are to be elected from the county, and the old bill provided appellate court judges should be elected from a district. So I'm much in favor of the judicial districting bill, because it makes judges accountable to the people in the district that elect them. The reason judges do some of the things they do is because their names get lost on the ballot. Not Strayhorn, because everybody knows it. But when you talk about 400-odd judges on the ballot, people don't know them. So they get lost on the ballot, so they retain. With a judicial districting bill, competition breeds better judges. Competition breeds better anything. And let me hasten to point out to you before this show is over, with the Gray Lord scandal, the Gambat scandal, and 16 or 17 judges having been convicted of atrocious, sinful corruption, some still being on indictment, we still have the same chief judge now running the system that ran it at the beginning when these judges were appointed to these various positions. I used also to point out to you that not a black judge has been brought into this scenario. Not a black judge has been indicted or mentioned in the scandal.
And hadn't been brought up either.
No, that's correct.
That's it. You were going to say, or did you have something to say?
I have nothing to add in that area.
I want to talk about the hot issue of the day, Clarence Thomas, and what's going on with him. Now, all this attention, do you feel that all this attention would have been raised had he not been a black conservative, but was it Souter? I mean, would have been raised if something like this would happen to Souter?
Well, I am adamantly, unequivocally, unalterably, viciously, and vociferously opposed to, quote, sexual harassment, unquote. I begin with that premise. Women should not have to be subjected to insults and indignities by men in the workplace.
Or out of the workplace.
Or out of the workplace. It just happens to be my view that in this case, Judge Thomas's case, the perception that some have, and I'm one of those, is that this is just another example of an oppressive, racist, white power structure using one black to stay the progress of another black. And that is a perception that many people have as to what's going on regarding Anita Hill and Judge Thomas. And that should not be. The conservative wing of the Judicial Committee supported him. The, quote, liberal wing, unquote, opposed him and submitted his name to the full Senate, 7-7 vote. He was a hair's breadth from confirmation, and someone leaked this information. And I say to you, quite candidly, and I've said it before, I was opposed to Judge Thomas being put on the United States Supreme Court. And I was opposed because his views that he has expressed did not serve, in my judgment, the best interests of black Americans. I was opposed also because when such people as Strom Thurmond and Jesse Helms and Orrin Hatch and Simpson supporting this man tells me that he is not for the best interests of black people. But now that this additional factor has been injected into this scenario, it offends me. I find it to be reprehensible that the fate of this man, the fate of this position is going to be determined upon the belated accusation of Anita Hill. I'm not going to get into that's typical that women don't report it and it's typical that they don't say anything about it. But Here is a person who is a law school professor, a lawyer. It is my understanding of the rule of law in Illinois, at least, that you have a duty, an obligation under your oath to bring forth any transgressions by another lawyer and certainly by a judge. An affirmative duty. And the fact of the matter is, in Illinois, if you don't, charges can be filed against you before the court, before the Illinois Attorney Registration District Commission, for failure to bring attention of the authorities of a transgression of another lawyer, of a judge. Now, this man was before the Senate Judiciary Committee a few months ago when he was being considered for the Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, for the Court of Appeals for the Washington, D.C. Circuit. And she said nothing, absolutely nothing about what this man had done. Now, in Illinois, that's a violation of her oath.
Well, this is the fourth confirmation hearing that he's gone he's gone through, and this is the first charge, the first time that she's come forward. It's suspect to the greatest degree, the timing of these serious charges and allegations. I'm not going to get into the hearings to the extent that I'm going to express an opinion as to who's to be believed and who's not to be believed. But I think it is suspicious to the highest degree that 10 years have gone by after these events were supposed to have taken place, and now for the first time, as Gene says, when the man is 1 foot into the door of the second most important governmental agency in the world, not just the United States. The United States Supreme Court is second only to the President of the United States in its importance in the world, not just in the United States. And then when you think of the horrible things, and there's no question that if these things were said, they meet the qualifications of not only being legal sex discrimination, but moral and they're just horrible things. And how, if it actually occurred, it could be suppressed for 10 years, puzzles me.
Let me just add this to it, for the benefit of your viewing audience, if I may.
And I hope he's, Gene seems to think that this is going to hurt him to the extent that he's not going to be confirmed. I hope that his view that he's not going to be confirmed is not, I hope he gets confirmed.
Judge Pincham, I know you have a comment, and I wish that we could have more time to talk about a lot of things that we didn't cover, but we're coming to the close of our show. Now, I want to thank you all for coming to our program. As we end another one of our editions of Here We Are, it's time for us to encourage each of you to read a book. This time we're recommending the book, The Ways of White Folks by Langston Hughes. This book is rich in African American literature as well as very funny. Reading is good for you.